throughout all these families, I see it on a day-to-day basis. The strength of the family unit coming together.
Charles did many wrong things to Diana, and he was a villain in this marriage. Although it's heartbreaking, this is what Diana's sons admitted about their father. Of course, they don't completely blame Charles because they know a shocking truth about the origin of their parents' wedding. Furthermore, not only was Charles the one who unilaterally caused the mistake in this marriage, but Diana also sought revenge, leading to the unnecessary breakup. However, when faced with the choice of protecting their father or mother, both Harry and William sided with Diana. Having known many of Charles's secrets for years under an oath of absolute secrecy, today they broke it down and revealed them all. Listen to their revelations. We will never know until Diana's children reveal it that Diana and Charles's real relationship was just a business transaction. According to royal expert Elizabeth Holmes, author of HRH, So Many Thoughts on Royal Style, the marriage of Charles and Diana was not rooted in the passionate love often associated with fairy tale weddings. Instead, Holmes characterized it as almost like a business transaction, suggesting that Diana was chosen because she fit the mold of what the royal family deemed suitable for a future queen consort. Diana's eagerness to please and her willingness to conform to royal expectations made her a suitable candidate to fulfill the role expected of her. Their courtship, by modern standards, was remarkably short. Holmes described it as brief, emphasizing the formal nature of their relationship. This brevity underscored the pressures facing Charles, who, under scrutiny from both the public and the monarchy, likely felt compelled to fulfill his duty to marry and produce heirs to the throne. This pragmatic approach to marriage stood in stark contrast to Diana's youthful idealism and perhaps contributed to the eventual strains within their relationship. Insights from Sir Max Hastings in the documentary Diana, The Truth Behind the Interview shed further light on the troubled dynamics within Charles and Diana's marriage. Hastings, a former newspaper editor, asserted that Diana harbored strong negative feelings towards her husband, going so far as to claim she hated him. Hastings recounted Diana's bleak assessment of their relationship, stating unequivocally that the marriage was hell from day one. This revelation challenges the romanticized narrative of their early years together and underscores the deep-seated dissatisfaction and emotional turmoil Diana experienced behind palace walls. The mismatched expectations and emotional disconnect between Charles and Diana manifested in various ways throughout their marriage. Diana's struggles with bulimia, which she attributed in part to the emotional strain of her marital difficulties, became public knowledge and highlighted the personal toll of living under the intense scrutiny of royal life. The couple's differing interests and lifestyles further exacerbated their rift, with Charles finding solace in his intellectual pursuits and Diana seeking fulfillment in her charitable endeavors and public engagements. Despite the outward appearance of regal unity, cracks in their relationship became increasingly evident over time. The couple's contrasting personalities and divergent approaches to royal duty created a rift that proved insurmountable. Diana's charisma and humanitarian efforts endeared her to the public, casting her as a symbol of modern royalty, while Charles struggled to reconcile his public role with his private desires. By the mid-1990s, the strains within their marriage reached a breaking point. The revelation of Charles's ongoing relationship with Camilla Parker Bowles, whom he had known intimately since before his marriage to Diana, further strained their already fragile bond. Diana's own admissions about her emotional struggles and her growing disillusionment with royal life underscored the profound disconnect between her public persona and private anguish. The divorce of Prince Charles and Princess Diana in 1996 marked the culmination of years of turmoil and public speculation. Despite their efforts to present a united front for the sake of their sons, Princes William and Harry, the dissolution of their marriage was a testament to the impossibility of reconciling personal happiness with the demands of royal duty and tradition. Diana's tragic death in 1997 further underscored the complexities and challenges faced by those who inhabit the rarefied world of monarchy. A secret that may sound strange, but it came out from Diana's own son, was that their parents' wedding was arranged. Indeed, according to filmmaker Jemima Khan, who was acquainted with Diana, their marriage was essentially arranged, a concept that may seem foreign in modern Western contexts, but historically and globally has been a common practice. Khan pointed out that while it might appear unusual to Western sensibilities, arranged marriages were not uncommon within the royal family and still prevail as the norm in many cultures worldwide. Khan's insights shed light on the dynamics that may have shaped Charles and Diana's courtship and subsequent marriage. She suggested that their union was seen as an appropriate match chosen by their parents and a committee of family members, a process that prioritized considerations of status, lineage, and duty over romantic compatibility. This perspective challenges the popular narrative of a fairy tale romance and suggests a more pragmatic approach to royal marriages, aligning with broader historical practices within aristocratic and royal circles. The notion of an arranged marriage between Charles and Diana provides a framework to understand why they continued to pursue their relationship despite any lack of passionate love or deep personal connection. In the context of royal duty and expectation, their union was likely seen as advantageous for maintaining royal lineage and continuity. For Diana, who was thrust into the spotlight as a young woman, the prospect of becoming the future Queen of England may have held its own allure and sense of duty, despite any reservations or uncertainties she may have harbored. The complexities of their marriage, influenced by external pressures and expectations, manifested in various ways throughout their time together. Reports of emotional distance, differing interests, and the intrusion of third parties underscored the challenges they faced in reconciling personal fulfillment with public duty. Diana's struggles with bulimia and her emotional turmoil, as well as Charles's ongoing relationship with Camilla Parker Bowles, further strained their already fragile relationship. Diana's children held many secrets about Charles's cruelty, and they cleverly revealed them through seemingly harmless photos. You've likely seen countless photos of Charles and Diana together. Their images were splashed across tabloids, magazines, and television screens, becoming iconic representations of a royal fairy tale. However, there's a particular detail in these photos that you might have overlooked. On Twitter, sociologist Philip N. Cohen highlighted a subtle yet significant discrepancy in the posed photos of the couple. Although Prince Charles and Princess Diana were the same height, Charles often appeared at least a foot taller than Diana in many photographs. This revelation opens up a curious discussion about the dynamics of their public appearances. Charles, the heir apparent, and Diana, the beloved people's princess, were both 5 feet 10 inches tall. Yet, in numerous posed photographs, Charles towers over Diana. This noticeable difference was not a result of actual height variation, but rather a carefully crafted optical illusion. The royal family, including Charles, has never commented on this peculiar camera trick, leaving room for speculation and intrigue. In candid photos, where the couple was captured without the meticulous staging, the truth is apparent. Diana and Charles stood eye to eye. So, what explains the consistent portrayal of Charles as significantly taller? Several theories might shed light on this photographic manipulation. One possibility is that Charles was sensitive about his height. In a world where perception often trumps reality, especially within the rigid and image-conscious framework of the British monarchy, the appearance of stature can be linked to notions of dominance, authority, and masculinity. By ensuring that he appeared taller in photos, Charles could have been attempting to reinforce his position and command a stronger presence alongside Diana, who captivated the public with her charisma and beauty. Another perspective considers the psychological and relational dynamics between the couple. The height disparity in photos might have been a subtle assertion of control or superiority by Charles. Height is often subconsciously associated with power, and in the context of their relationship, this could be seen as an effort by Charles to maintain a semblance of control or dominance. Diana, despite her initial shyness, grew into a powerful figure in her own right, using her public platform to champion various causes and connect deeply with the people. The staged height difference could have been an attempt to counterbalance Diana's rising influence and public adoration. The use of camera angles, footwear, and posture could all contribute to this illusion. Photographers might have been instructed to shoot from angles that elevated Charles's height or positioned Diana slightly behind or below him. Additionally, Charles could have worn shoes with hidden lifts or stood on discreet platforms during photo shoots. The meticulousness with which these images were crafted suggests a deliberate effort to control the public narrative. This detail, seemingly minor, paints a new and unflattering picture of Charles and Diana's marriage. It suggests a discomfort with reality on Charles's part, an unwillingness to present the true equality in stature between himself and his wife. In an era where Diana was breaking free from traditional royal constraints and redefining her role, this photographic manipulation underscores the tensions and insecurities that simmered beneath the surface of their relationship. Not stopping there, Harry and William frankly exposed their father's irresponsible actions during the wedding ceremony, saying he forgot to kiss their mother. The first kiss as husband and wife is a moment steeped in anticipation and significance. It's a public display of affection that seals the union and often becomes a cherished memory for the couple and their guests. Tracy Domino, a renowned wedding planner and founder of Tracy Domino Events, emphasized the importance of this moment in an interview with brides. She even recommends that couples practice their ceremony kiss beforehand to avoid any potential awkwardness. According to her, a well-rehearsed kiss can ensure that the moment is smooth and seamless, sparing the couple from any unnecessary embarrassment on their special day. Yet even an awkward kiss might be preferable to no kiss at all. This brings us to one of the most iconic and somewhat amusing moments in royal wedding history. According to history, during the wedding of Prince Charles and Lady Diana Spencer, the newlyweds neglected to share a kiss after exchanging their vows at the altar. Whether it was due to nerves, the weight of the moment, or simply an oversight, Charles forgot to kiss his new bride. This omission did not go unnoticed, and it left a noticeable gap in the otherwise meticulously planned ceremony. To make up for this missed moment, a new tradition was born. As a way to rectify the situation, Charles and Diana took to the balcony of Buckingham Palace to share their first public kiss as husband and wife. The balcony kiss was met with rapturous applause and cheers from the gathered crowds, and it provided a perfect, picturesque conclusion to their wedding day. This impromptu gesture not only salvaged the situation, but also added a new and enduring element to royal wedding ceremonies. The introduction of the balcony kiss has since become a beloved tradition. It was such a memorable and endearing spectacle that it has been recreated by subsequent royal couples. When Prince William married Kate Middleton, they too shared a kiss on the balcony of Buckingham Palace, much to the delight of the adoring public. This moment of public intimacy has become an expected highlight of royal weddings, a symbol of love and joy shared not just between the couple, but with the entire nation. For Prince Charles, however, the origin of this tradition might be a bit embarrassing. The fact that one of the sweetest and most anticipated rituals of royal weddings today stems from his forgetfulness adds a touch of irony to the story. It serves as a reminder that even in the most carefully orchestrated events, human moments, complete with their imperfections, can lead to the creation of lasting traditions. As for Diana, her defiant act during the wedding also made her two sons uncomfortable. In 1981, when Lady Diana Spencer married Prince Charles, she made a significant departure from royal tradition that reflected a broader shift in societal norms and attitudes toward marriage. The New York Times highlighted this break from royal precedent, noting that Diana chose to follow a new ritual of the Church of England during their wedding ceremony. Instead of vowing to obey her prince, Diana vowed to love him, comfort him, honor and keep him in sickness and in health. This change was a notable deviation from the traditional vows taken by royal brides, including Queen Elizabeth II, who had vowed to obey Prince Philip despite her superior position as the monarch. This alteration in the wedding vows might seem minor, but it was a powerful symbol of the changing dynamics within marriage and society. For centuries, the marriage vow to obey had underscored the expectation of a wife's subservience to her husband. Diana's decision to omit this vow was not merely a personal choice, but also a public statement that reflected the evolving views on gender roles and equality in marriage. Dr. Edward Carpenter, the Dean of Westminster Abbey, provided a perspective on this change in his comments to the newspaper. He asserted that marriage should be a partnership of equals, and that the notion of one partner's dominance should not be dictated by the wedding vows. Carpenter's viewpoint underscored a growing recognition of the importance of mutual respect and equality in marital relationships. Diana's choice was emblematic of the broader feminist movements of the time, which sought to challenge and redefine traditional gender roles. By opting for vows that emphasized love, comfort, honor, and support rather than obedience, Diana aligned herself with these progressive ideals. Her decision was seen by many as a step toward modernizing royal traditions and making them more reflective of contemporary values. Some might argue that omitting the vow to obey could be interpreted as a red flag in Diana and Charles's relationship, suggesting a potential reluctance to submit to the established order. However, it is more likely that this choice was a forward-thinking move to promote a more egalitarian vision of marriage. Diana's decision was in line with her independent spirit and her desire to be seen as a partner rather than a subordinate. In the context of their marriage, this modernized vow was just one aspect of the many challenges and changes Diana would bring to the royal family. Her approach to her role, her public engagements, and her personal life often broke with tradition, bringing a breath of fresh air to the monarchy, but also leading to tensions and conflicts within the royal household. The greater issues at hand in Diana and Charles's relationship extended far beyond the wording of their wedding vows. Their marriage was marked by intense public scrutiny, personal struggles, and ultimately, a very public breakdown. The omission of obey in their vows can be seen as a precursor to the many ways in which Diana sought to assert her own identity and carve out a space for herself within the rigid structures of the royal family. Diana's decision also paved the way for future royal weddings. Her son, Prince William, and his wife, Kate Middleton, chose to follow a similar path in their wedding vows, reflecting the continued evolution of royal traditions to align more closely with modern values. This continuity suggests that Diana's influence on the royal family and its traditions has had a lasting impact. Both William and Harry understood the nature of Diana and Charles's marriage, and they came out to shed light on the intimacy that should exist between the two of them as a couple. In the early 90s, Princess Diana recorded a series of candid tapes at Kensington Palace, where she opened up to her speech tutor, Peter Settlin, about the deeply personal and intimate aspects of her marriage to Prince Charles. These recordings offer a raw and unfiltered glimpse into the troubled relationship of one of the most famous couples of the 20th century. By the time these tapes were made, Diana and Charles had been married for 12 years and were just a few years away from their eventual divorce in 1996. Diana's reflections on her marriage are particularly revealing and poignant. In one of the tapes, she touched upon the nature of their intimacy, which had long been a topic of speculation and intrigue for the public. Well, there was. There was. But it was odd. Very odd, she confided, her repetition and choice of words underscoring the strangeness she felt about their relationship. She elaborated further, saying, "Instinct told me it was just so odd." This ambiguous yet telling statement hinted at a deep discomfort and dissatisfaction that plagued their marital bond. Diana's candid admission that their intimacy had fizzled out around 7 years before, shortly after the birth of their second son, Prince Harry, painted a bleak picture of their marital life. By indicating that their physical relationship had effectively ended years before their official separation, Diana underscored the long-standing and unresolved issues that characterized their union. Although Diana did not delve into exhaustive details about their sex life, the information she did provide was more than enough to highlight the extent of the emotional and physical distance between her and Charles. Her comments suggest a marriage that was fraught with misunderstandings and unmet needs, far removed from the fairy tale image that had initially captivated the world. The reasons behind the deterioration of their relationship were complex and multifaceted. The pressure of their public roles, their differing personalities, and the infamous third party in their marriage, Camilla Parker Bowles, all contributed to the growing rift. Diana's sense of betrayal and her struggle to find her place within the rigid confines of the royal family exacerbated the situation, leading to a profound sense of isolation and unhappiness. Moreover, Diana's recordings provide a stark contrast to the public persona of the couple. While they maintained appearances for the sake of royal duties and public expectations, behind closed doors, their relationship was far from harmonious. Diana's willingness to speak so openly about these intimate details reflects her need to break free from the constraints of silence and reclaim her narrative amidst the turbulent dynamics of her marriage. In the midst of an unhappy marriage, Diana's children admitted that their mother had no hesitation in directing her affections to other men. Indeed, Diana's candid revelations to her speech tutor, Peter Settlein, shed light on the depth of her emotional turmoil and the significant relationships that shaped her private world. One of the poignant moments captured in Diana's taped conversations was her recollection of a profound romantic connection she experienced in her mid-20s. She disclosed that she had fallen deeply in love with someone who worked in the security environment around her. Though Diana never explicitly named him, the details strongly suggested that she was referring to Barry Mannicky, a former royal protection officer assigned to her. Diana expressed deep sorrow over Mannicky's abrupt departure from her life. According to her account, he was dismissed from his duties and tragically died in a motorcycle accident just 3 weeks later. Diana's grief over Mannicky's death was compounded by suspicions that it might not have been accidental. She confided to Settlein her belief that Mannicky had been bumped off, suggesting she harbored doubts about the official narrative surrounding his death. Despite the lack of evidence supporting foul play, Diana's conviction underscored the profound impact Mannicky had on her life. In addition to Mannicky, Diana's tapes also revealed her awareness of Prince Charles's extramarital affair with Camilla Parker Bowles, which began in 1986. Diana's discovery of Charles's infidelity dealt a devastating blow to their marriage. She confronted Camilla about the affair during a tense conversation, as later confirmed by Diana herself in taped conversations with her biographer, Andrew Morton. This revelation shattered the public perception of the fairy tale royal marriage and added fuel to the ongoing media speculation about the state of Charles and Diana's relationship. The affair with Camilla Parker Bowles was not merely a scandalous betrayal, but also a symbol of the emotional distance between Charles and Diana. Diana's openness about the affair in her tapes reflected her deep-seated pain and disillusionment with the institution of marriage. Her attempts to confront the realities of her relationship, both with her bodyguard and with Charles, highlighted her struggle to reconcile her public role with her private anguish. The revelations from Diana's tapes offered a rare glimpse into the inner turmoil of a woman who, despite her royal status, grappled with profound personal challenges and heartbreak. Her candid discussions about love, loss, and betrayal humanized her in the eyes of the public, revealing the vulnerabilities behind the glamorous facade of royalty. Did Charles really love Diana? Faced with this question, Diana's sons all sadly shook their heads. From the outset, doubts about the depth of Charles's feelings for Diana cast a shadow over their union. In their first joint interview after announcing their engagement, the interviewer posed the seemingly innocuous question, "Are you in love?" Diana, youthful and enthusiastic, promptly answered, "Of course." Her response was filled with the hope and excitement of a young bride-to-be. Yet Charles's reply struck a different chord. "Whatever in love means," he mused, his tone and words hinting at a detachment that Diana found unsettling. Years later, in taped conversations with her speech tutor, Peter Settlein, Diana revealed the profound impact of that moment on her psyche. She admitted feeling taken aback by the question itself, considering it a thick question from the interviewer. Despite her own reservations, she had answered sincerely, only to be further shaken by Charles's response. "That threw me completely," Diana recounted to Settlein. "I thought what a strange question and answer. God, absolutely traumatized me." This candid admission highlighted the emotional toll of realizing her husband-to-be did not share her enthusiasm or understanding of their relationship. Royal biographer Sally Bedell Smith provided further insight into Charles's perspective, noting that he viewed Diana as someone he could potentially learn to love. This pragmatic approach, while not uncommon in arranged or strategic marriages of royalty, underscored the lack of romantic passion that Diana yearned for and that the public assumed existed. The disparity between public perception and private reality deepened as their marriage progressed. Diana's warmth and charisma endeared her to the public, earning her the title of the People's Princess. However, behind closed doors, she grappled with Charles's continued emotional distance and the strain of his ongoing relationship with Camilla Parker Bowles, whom he had known intimately before and during his marriage to Diana. The impact of Charles's ambivalence and Diana's unfulfilled expectations reverberated throughout their marriage. Diana's efforts to connect with Charles and navigate the complexities of royal life were overshadowed by her sense of loneliness and isolation. The public scrutiny that accompanied her every move further compounded her struggles, leaving her to navigate personal challenges in the unforgiving glare of the media spotlight. As the years passed, their relationship deteriorated amidst public scandals and personal revelations. Diana's struggles with mental health, bulimia, and the pressures of royal life became increasingly public, painting a stark contrast to the fairy tale image that had captivated the world on their wedding day. Her attempts to seek fulfillment and autonomy outside of the royal constraints led to clashes within the monarchy and intensified media scrutiny. Harry and William asserted that their parents' unhappy marriage almost ended Diana's life. At the heart of their troubled union lay deep-seated issues, exacerbated by Charles's ongoing affair with Camilla Parker Bowles, whom he had known since the early 1970s. In the midst of her anguish, Diana sought solace and guidance from unexpected quarters, including the Queen herself. The revelation from the documentary Diana, in her own words, sheds light on a poignant moment when Diana, grappling with the betrayal and emotional turmoil caused by Charles's infidelity, turned to her mother-in-law for advice. However, instead of receiving comfort or a decisive course of action, Diana recalled the Queen's response as a somewhat resigned acknowledgement of Charles's difficult nature. "I don't know what you should do. Charles is hopeless." For Diana, this conversation may have underscored the isolation she felt within the royal family, a feeling of being adrift in a marriage marred by public expectation and private pain. Her struggle with bulimia, An eating disorder characterized by cycles of binging and purging became a stark manifestation of her internal turmoil. Diana candidly admitted that her eating disorder was, in part, a response to the deep emotional distress she endured as her marriage unraveled under the relentless glare of media scrutiny and personal betrayal. Everyone in the family knew about the bulimia, Diana recounted, highlighting a tragic paradox where her illness became both a coping mechanism and a source of blame. The royal family's acknowledgement of her condition did not necessarily translate into effective support or understanding, further compounding Diana's sense of alienation and despair. In her own words, she expressed how her bulimia seemed to be the most discreet way to harm herself, a haunting revelation of the extent of her emotional anguish and the desperate measures she resorted to in an attempt to cope. Beyond her eating disorder, Diana hinted at other subtle cries for help that went unnoticed or unheeded at the time. Her revelations in various recordings, such as those cited by the Express, provide glimpses into a woman struggling to reconcile her public role as a beloved princess with the private pain of a fractured marriage and personal betrayal. The fairy tale facade of her marriage to Charles had given way to a harsh reality, one marked by emotional neglect, infidelity, and the weight of relentless public scrutiny. The deteriorating state of Charles and Diana's relationship, once celebrated as a union of hope and modernity within the monarchy, had indeed become a nightmare, a stark contrast to the idyllic image projected to the world. Behind closed doors, their marriage was unraveling, leaving Diana to navigate a precarious path between duty and personal suffering. Diana's son also revealed a painful truth about their father's mindless skepticism of their mother. By the time their relationship reached its breaking point, trust had eroded to such an extent that accusations of sabotage and power plays were openly discussed within royal circles. The revelation that Diana harbored doubts about Charles's suitability to rule as King of England sheds light on the deep-seated tensions within their marriage. In an interview conducted a year before their divorce, Diana's candid remarks hinted at her reservations regarding Charles's capabilities as a future monarch. This sentiment, coupled with her growing disillusionment over Charles's ongoing affair with Camilla Parker Bowles, underscored the profound rift between them. Charles, in turn, became increasingly paranoid about perceived plots against him within the royal family. According to royal biographer Tom Bower, Charles believed Diana and Sarah Ferguson, her close friend and the wife of his brother Prince Andrew, were strategizing to prevent him from ascending to the throne. Bower's insights, shared in Rebel Prince, the power, passion, and defiance of Prince Charles, paint a picture of a prince grappling with suspicions that even extended to his own family. The scenario Charles envisioned in the event of the Queen's death or abdication added layers to this familial drama. He speculated that Prince Andrew might serve as regent until Prince William came of age at 18, bypassing Charles entirely in the line of succession. This suspicion not only strained his relationship with Diana, but also cast a shadow over his interactions with Andrew, whom he saw as potentially complicit in undermining his future as king. To be married to someone whom you believe is actively working against your ambitions and aspirations is a profound psychological burden. For Charles, the erosion of trust in his marriage mirrored broader uncertainties about his royal destiny and the support he could expect from those closest to him. The royal family, known for its adherence to tradition and hierarchy, found itself embroiled in a personal and political drama that threatened to undermine its stability. The dynamics within the House of Windsor during this turbulent period reflect the complexities of royalty beyond mere pomp and circumstance. Behind the facade of regal decorum lay human emotions, jealousy, suspicion, and ambition, playing out on a global stage. Diana and Charles, once symbols of modern royalty, became symbols of marital discord and personal anguish. The fallout from these revelations reverberated through the public perception of the monarchy. Diana's doubts about Charles's fitness to rule struck a chord with a public increasingly skeptical of traditional institutions. Charles's suspicions of a familial conspiracy added a layer of intrigue to an already scrutinized royal family. What is surprising is that neither Charles nor Diana actively divorced. By the mid-1990s, Charles and Diana had been living separate lives for approximately 4 years. The decision to not immediately pursue a divorce reflected a complex blend of personal feelings and royal protocol. Diana, hurt by Charles's ongoing affair with Camilla Parker Bowles and disillusioned by what she perceived as her husband's ambivalence towards their marriage, found herself in a state of emotional limbo. Meanwhile, Charles, beset by suspicions that Diana and others were plotting against his future as king, harbored deep-seated mistrust. The turning point came in 1996 when Diana received a significant communication from the Queen. According to accounts, including those from Diana's former butler Paul Burrell, this communication effectively urged Diana to proceed with a divorce. Burrell indicated that Diana, despite her personal reservations about divorce due to her own upbringing and concerns for her sons, felt compelled to comply with what was essentially an order from the Queen. Diana's reluctance to divorce stemmed from her own experiences as a child of divorced parents. She feared the impact of a broken home on her sons, Prince William and Prince Harry, and was mindful of the challenges they would face growing up under such circumstances. However, the decision was seemingly taken out of her hands by the institutional pressures and expectations surrounding the royal family. On August 28, 1996, after years of separation and emotional turmoil, Prince Charles and Princess Diana officially divorced. The announcement marked the end of a chapter in royal history, fraught with public scrutiny and personal anguish. For Diana, the divorce symbolized not only the conclusion of a tumultuous marriage, but also the beginning of a new phase in her life as she sought to redefine her role outside the constraints of royal protocol. The aftermath of the divorce reverberated both within the royal family and across the globe. It underscored the challenges faced by individuals thrust into the spotlight of royalty and highlighted the personal sacrifices often demanded in service to the crown and country. Diana's decision to publicly discuss the difficulties of her marriage and the emotional toll it took on her endeared her to many who admired her vulnerability and strength in adversity. In the years following the divorce, Diana continued to capture the world's attention with her humanitarian work and her efforts to redefine her public persona on her own terms. Her tragic death in 1997 further cemented her legacy as the People's Princess, a title that reflected her deep connection with the public and her enduring influence on charitable causes worldwide. For Prince Charles, the divorce marked a tumultuous chapter in his journey towards kingship. While he eventually married Camilla Parker Bowles in 2005, after years of speculation and controversy, the scars of his first marriage and its public fallout remained part of his legacy. The complex dynamics between Charles, Diana, and the royal family continue to fascinate historians, biographers, and royal watchers alike, offering a glimpse into the personal lives of those who inhabit the rarefied world of monarchy. What do you think about what Charles did during his marriage with Diana through the words of his two sons? Leave us your comments in the section below. We hope you have found this helpful video. Don't forget to leave a like, share, and subscribe to the channel if you like it. Thank you for watching this and see you in the next videos. Goodbye.